So in the last video, we had added an attack, a blast for Mega Man, and we successfully lowered our enemy's health bar if with each attack. All right. Now, between that video and this one, I was playing around with it a bit, and I decided I want to add in music, some background music. And so with the new HTML5, there's this new HTML tag called audio, and it allows us to embed audio right into our HTML. And so I want to go over that right now. So here I have an audio tag, and I've given it an ID. That way I can refer to it. And inside that, I've got a source tag and SRC. The SRC value is the actual MP3 value of the sound file. And now this is music that I downloaded, and then you have to specify the type as well. And then this thing here where it says your browser does not support the audio element. So this doesn't get shown if their browser supports it. If the browser is able to load the MP3, it's not going to show this text. But if it doesn't support it, they'll see this text instead. Okay. What I have up here is a div, just a basic div with an image in it, and I want to give the user an ability to mute the music once they are playing it, because they might not want to have the music going on for a while. Okay, and that calls a function mute. All right. Now, just because we've loaded this in there, it doesn't actually start playing right away. Right here in the begin battle function, what I did is I added a function battle music.play, and then here I'm setting the volume to just 50%, 0.5. Before that, battle music, that's a variable I created, and I'm pointing to my audio, and that again was the ID that I gave the audio tag. Okay, and then music controls, that's the image that I added up there with the that calls the mute function. And I'm also making a global variable here, state, and making it equal to on. So by default, initially music is going to be on or unmuted. Okay. When they click the mute button, then it's going to run this function, and I just run it through an if statement. If state, that global variable, is equal to off, change it to on, meaning if it's muted, then unmute it. And then I'm changing the image to be equal to a muted icon, and or a non-muted icon, and then I'm playing the music. Else, so if state is equal to on, I'm changing it to off, changing the image, and then I'm pausing the music. So rather than actually muting it, it's actually pausing, pause and play. So, I mean, I could change my images to be more like the pause and the play icons, but that's just what I had chosen. Okay. The CSS involved, basically I just added a bit of CSS right here to change like how high the image is, and that's basically all I added for in terms of CSS. So let's see what that looks like. So now we've got this. You can see I've got an icon up there, and when I click begin battle, it starts playing the music. And now it's muted. Oop. And it starts playing again. So that's kind of how that works. Yeah, probably and you might not be able to hear it through the sound because I'm only capturing audio from my microphone, but if you were to put it in there, you'll hear it. Okay. It actually was coming in pretty loud through my my headphones. All right, so now let's add in the Vygar's attacks. Okay, so if we go down, and what I'm going to do actually is, just because I don't want to be having to mute this every single time, I'm going to set the volume to 0. Okay, there we go. So now if we go to blast, all right, then it's going to be doing this, and I added in some content here about what your blast did, how much damage it did, and how much health Vygar has. Okay, as well as an ability to make it miss. But here it says you've successfully defeated Battle Boss Vygar, and the button's gone. I made it so that at that point, if Vygar's health is 0, then change the message and make that button, all of the buttons, hidden. Okay. Else, so I'm going to add an else here, meaning if Vygar is still alive, he's going to want to retaliate and do some damage himself. And so now I have to decide what is Vygar going to do. Now, is he going to have more than one move? And I'm thinking he will. So I'm going to make a function. I'm going to call it Vyg attack. And essentially, I'm going to have it pick a move randomly. I'm going to give him 3 different moves, and then it will apply that damage against me. Okay, and essentially, I could even copy and paste a lot of this because the logic is going to be very similar. All right, but first, let's have him choose. So I'm going to have attack choice, and I'm going to do a math.random times 3. So it's going to be a random number between 1 and 3. And actually, rather than round, I'm going to go seal. That way, it's always going to be either a 1, 2, or a 3. If I did math.round, it possibly could have rounded down to a 0. All right. And now I'm just going to do an if statement. If attack choice is equal to 1, then I'll put in the code for the first attack. Else if attack choice equals 2, and else. I could put else if attack choice equals 3, but I may as well just have an else. It's the same thing. So if it's attack choice 1, then I'm thinking maybe what I'll do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm thinking that I'm going to make each attack choice if it does lower damage, maybe it has a higher chance of hitting me. If it does higher damage, it's got a lower chance of hitting me. I'm thinking that kind of makes sense to have to make it a bit of an interesting game. So here I've got the hit chance. I've got a random number from 0 to 10. If it's less than or equal to 7, that's a pretty high chance of hitting me. I'm going to keep it the same as my damage on him. So instead of that, I'm going to, instead of reducing Vyga HP, I'm going to reduce Mega HP. And if Mega HP is less than 0, make it equal to 0. And then here, I'm going to have Vygar hit you with, I don't know, a basic blast doing that much damage. You now have, and then I'm going to put Mega HP there. All right. And rather than Vig HP bar width, what's the variable for my bar width? Oh, there. Right, equals that. So rather than that, I'm going to call it mega HP bar width. And instead of Vig HP, which is Vigar's HP bar, I guess is that. Let's just double check. Mega Man HP. There it is. And that's the one that I want to shrink. So I'm going to make Mega Man HP's .style.width is equal to that. And otherwise I can keep it roughly the same. Now for the second one, I wanted it to be a lower chance. So maybe I will make it less than or equal to 5. But he does greater damage potentially. So I'm going to increase that and do that. And just because it's actually probably simpler for me just to change a couple numbers, I'm just going to copy paste that because that way I don't have to change all of those variable names again. So I'm going to make it a 5 there, 15, 15. And the rest I can keep the same. And down here, I'm going to have it be a much smaller chance, but I'm going to increase the damage by a significant amount there. And there we go. And then after that, after he does an attack, now here, I could have it happen instantaneously, which is kind of what I have right now. And for the else, I just wanted to call Vig attack right there. All right. And right now, this is kind of happening instantaneously. If we wanted, we could use a timeout, a set timeout function. That would mean that it would call it after a couple seconds. That way you can give it a bit of a difference between in timing. But right now, it's just instantaneous. Let's just see if this works. So I'm going to begin the battle. And now I blast. And now it says Vigar missed. Now it doesn't show mine anymore. And I still want to have that shown. So I think what I'm going to do is in the Vigar's attack, rather than making bottom row.innerHTML equal to that, if I do a plus equals like that, then what that will do is it's going to add on to what it was. Okay, so I'm going to just copy and paste that in there. Oops. Now, if we refresh, blast, now we see what we did. We hit Battle Boss Vigar with doing 19 damage. He has 81 HP, and he missed. So that was lucky. Oh, I did 20 damage, but now he did 19 damage. I missed. He did more damage. Oh, I missed again. He missed. I do damage. Oh man, this is going to be tight. We both miss. Oh, and now I have 0 HP. This is where, just like we had down here a condition where if Vigar HP is equal to 0, then have it say I defeated him. We can similarly have a condition at the end of this for mega HP. And if it is equal to HP, or if it's equal to 0, and notice this is a key one right here, where I'm setting it to 0 if my HP goes below 0. That's really important. Otherwise, we're not going to see the health bar go down to 0, and this would not work. But now we can add in another one. Vigar has defeated you. Dun, dun, dun. And make it hidden. In which case, it should be game over. Let's try that again. Blast, blast, blast. Boom, boom. I defeated him. Oh, I gotta stop that. Oh, boom. He missed. I'm dead. That was actually close. And now it still shows, thankfully, the last attack. He only had 8, but I have 0. I have been defeated. All right. And that's essentially what we need to do. Now, to finalize our game, what we can do is add in a way for us to be able to play again. Now, to play again, it's essentially setting our health and Vigar's health back to 100. All of the other ones, we can actually keep roughly the same. And so you could do this a couple different ways, but I'm just going to make a function called restart game. And essentially what it's going to do is make Vigar HP equal to 100, mega HP equal to 100, and of course you would want to set yours to whatever initial values you wanted, and then we want to change the bottom row inner HTML to be whatever we want. But actually, because of this, we can make that run just by calling our begin battle function again. The last thing we're going to want to make sure we do is to make his abilities visible again, because I don't think we did that in here, or did we? Now so we made it invisible in a different way. So if we want, we can try that, but then we also need to make a button appear. So right here, why don't we right here make a button, and we can do an on-click restart game, and I'm going to call it play again. And then we can copy that and have it right after the loss one as well. So it's definitely going to show a button. It should show a button whether we win or we lose. So we do that. I lost. There's a play again button. We can always add CSS to make it a little fancier. And then it starts again. Now notice that it only reset our health bars once I did a blast. And so what we would also need to do is in restart game is right here, put in that that code that changes our health bar. So we could actually copy and paste that and copy and paste that so that both health bars are now back to their initial full values when we reset the game. Oh, that was close. Our health was at, well, it actually doesn't say how much health we had. Very little, though. We defeated them, play again. And now they're back to full, and then you can keep on going. And this time we lost. Play again still works. And we can keep on playing. So that's essentially what we need to do for a really basic battle game using JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Now, you're probably going to want to add in some additional features, which you're welcome to do, and I encourage you to try it out. Maybe even add in some sound effects depending on which ability you do. We could always add in more abilities by creating new functions for each of the other abilities. And we just want to make sure we do similar things where we are updating the health bar width and we're letting the enemy attack after we pick that other attack. But that should be it.